Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to EXPU Lab. I'm Bryon Ellington, Chief Learning Officer for eXp Realty, and I am joined today by John Kitchens with the Honey Badger Nation, and we're talking all about sponsorship in a box. John, thanks so much for being with us.
Man, thank you.
What's that sponsorship responsibility in your way of looking at it in terms of onboarding and bringing them into the company to start with? And then we'll go and we'll talk about what happens next after that. But let's just talk about getting them into the company. When you have somebody who says, heck yeah, I think I'm in, are you just handing them over to onboarding and saying, good luck, let me know how it goes? Or are you taking an active role?
Done both, and I've messed up both in a lot of different incidences. I think especially when where we were and coming in, and then as things got really wild and crazy with all the growth that we saw and all the attention, and really before any type of even comparable competitor, similar type of model was even there as another option. It was fast and furious and wild and crazy. And so, for me, just because of my typical, day to day is in a one-on-one capacity, I started, hey, I'll coach you, weekly. It's almost like, when you don't have any listings and you promise the seller you'll talk to him every day, and then all of a sudden you got 25 listings and it's impossible to talk to him every day. So I think early on, kind of creating that, expectation, trying to set that agreement, and then kind of ebb and flow a little bit to where, hey, I've got a lot of people here I'm working with. I've got a lot of people that I'm coaching. I just don't have time to take on any more one-to-one. So a little more hands off. And that wasn't necessarily the right way either. And, we've always been of, highest and best use of time. And I know, try to stay where in my lane, and my lane is, hey, helping you, get clear, helping you get clear on the vision, helping you get clear on your strategy, making sure you got the cadence and rhythm, you got the right team and execute. And so we needed somebody to help with onboarding, and we did. We brought in, she was actually my head of operations when I was running the company, but she was also, before that, she was our TC. And just very, with a DC personality.
I was going to say detail orientation does have its privileges. Yeah.
And no, she doesn't pull any punches with that high D personality as well. And so we brought her in the onboarding phase, and she still does onboarding for the entire, within, the Kinder Reese Stasek Honey Badger organization for me as well. So she, being able to hand them over to her, well, good and great, as long as I'm cadencing my calendar to talk and connect with these people. And the ones that I had established that rhythm of communication in the calendar, we're still working together to this day. The ones that we brought in from the onboarding phase that she helped brought in, that I didn't immediately get into my calendar on a consistent basis, they've all fell off and left. And 100% my fault for not getting plugged into them, a lot sooner, and understanding what is their value, the value to them. And, we, with on the real estate side of things, coaching agents in a part of kind of our mantra was that, man, they're not really a real client of ours until they refer somebody to us. And so it's even thinking through, like, an agent and to our team is not onboarded until they've closed, at least 3 or 4 or 5 transactions, because we know every transaction is a little different. So they're really not onboarded until you can get them to the value of cash and a paycheck. And I think for me, the mistakes were, the ones that I had in the calendar, regular cadence, it was gold. But the ones that I didn't constantly have a communication with, they fell off, they've left. And I know I could have done more to help them. But then I also wrestled a little bit with, the teacher opens the door, but the student has to walk through. I can meet you here, but, I need something from you. I can't drag you along. You got to want to take this as well. You got to show initiative. You got to want to be there is also part of it, but that could also be part of the coaching dynamic of me as well. Right. Is like, I'm providing, but you got to do the work. If I'm doing the work, that's a different relationship. And so, I think just getting real clear on that, but I think that's trial and error, just learning to navigate that as time has gone on.
Yeah, I think about my friend Krista and her onboarding team, and just in the short time I've been here, the strides they've made in terms of refining the process and really dialing that in has been amazing. And I was actually looking at the metrics this morning from our COO who put those out. I can only imagine 2017 till now that, the maturation process that we've gone through has meant that you maybe took on some things that we're now doing as an onboarding team. But I do think that there still is that role that we play in bringing people into the company and making sure that they know there's another voice here in the room here for you. When you think about, you talked about your attraction and part of your value, I'll coach you. Can you give me a sense, if I were to pin you down and say, hey, tell me the value that you offer as a sponsor? Why would I go with you versus this person or that person? What is that for you?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of me and just my experience and perspective, and then being able to have proximity and being able to offer you to, some one-to-many, if you need to jump on a call, text me, whatever you need to do, I'm here for you. But we definitely have been able to set up some one-to-many options to where people can plug in and being able to help them, through whatever it is they're trying to work through. I've done, multiple live events to help these, some of the people that I've sponsored, helping them, navigate, masterminds, navigate trainings, navigate, things that they can invite people to help have, a conversation about their business and, introduce them to what it would look like to work closer together, EXP benefit aside, but how, they can help and leverage and proximity from me as well. So I think there's, definitely don't lose sight of that as a value, especially if you're an agent, you're trying to bring people over and thinking like, well, what value do I not have? And it's like, well, it's the value that you have, but it's also the value that can be borrowed. And so obviously being a part of Honey Badger Nation for us with all of the NAEA resources, all the EXP resources, all of everybody, all the way up to Brent Gove's resources, just everybody's resources that we're able to tap into, but also, being able to directly reach out to me at any time to be able to answer any and all questions as well. So I think it needs to look like whatever is most important for them. I think that's the big thing that a lot of sponsors, they try to make it about them. And that's the thing that I see with a lot of coaches. They try to make it about them and their coaching program, their methodology. And it's like, guys, like, it ain't about you. It's about them. We're, as a coach and a sponsor, we're just the guide in this journey. We're not the hero. And I think that's where a lot of sponsors and agent, coaches, they lose, their relationship and their place in that relationship. And it should be, man, I'm just here to support you, right? I'm Yoda, you're Skywalker. I'm just trying to help you get to your destination best as possible. And whatever that is for you. And maybe it's a little bit of kind of my belief system, but also, coming into the company and really understanding the Rob Flick method, understanding the Gene Frederick method. And I just like what Gene would always say, it's like, man, I'm just going to talk about what you want to talk about. You want to talk about rev share? We'll talk about rev share. You want to talk about how I can help you produce? We're going to talk about that. I'm not going to talk about what you don't want to talk about or what you don't care about right now. And that's just an important reminder, is like, just consultative, man. It's like, what are you trying to do? What's your goal? And I like to explain to people, man, is like, EXP is just a buffet. And you just got to find out what you're hungry for right now. And let's go get that. And you might be hungry for something a little different a little later, and we'll go get that as well. But right now, what do you really is absolutely critical for you in your journey with your business? And let's go focus on that. And then when you're ready to focus on something else, we can do that as well. And I really adhere, I guess, subscribe to that type of approach.
Yeah, it's interesting. You talked about being that conduit from your upline to your downline. And that's something GoGo actually shared with me. She said, in addition to the training that I do, I make sure my downline knows what my upline is doing in terms of training as well, and has access to that. And I think that's an important part of filling out the overall package. When you think about your ability to help people and share and coach and train and be that conduit to your upline as well, do you take the paternal approach of everybody in your rev share org, or are you just focusing really on your frontline and hoping or acting that they'll focus on theirs and so on and so forth? How do you approach that?
Yeah, I try to model that behavior. Part of my team is constantly engaging and reaching out to them. And hey, what do how are you guys doing? What questions do you have? Do we need to get you on a call with John? You staying plugged in? Like, we talk about it all the time, primarily to our front line. And then through the front line, we're asking, where do they need help deeper down into the organization? And so that is, for us, we're talking about it on a weekly basis and identifying who we need to reach out to. Hey, who's kind of a lost sheep that we haven't talked to in a while? Let's reach out to them. And then, even my key upline people, frontline people, is that, I'm asking them, like, who do you have lost sheep? Who do we need to reach out to? Who do we need to help? Offering, for those that have a little bit of a downline organization, setting up monthly trainings for their entire organization that they can invite people to. So being able to establish always places to invite people to get them plugged in. And, it's also still the reminder, right? Just keep inviting. And you can't, put the gun to head to force them to show up, but, just opening the door and providing opportunity for them to be able to step in, to be able to help them. But yeah, from us internally, we're constantly reaching out to them. We're constantly staying in front of them. We're constantly trying to provide as much value, and then just letting them know, hey, who do you need help with? Who do you need help with? Who do you need help with? And it's that for us is, doing everything in our can to add as much value to them.
And you mentioned training. Is there a set schedule that you're following in terms of either your frontline or everybody in your org that you yourself are putting on training?
Yeah, we do a lot of training. We do a lot of calls. We do a lot of things. Obviously within our group, Kinder and Stasik and myself are at the forefront of them all the time. We run lead kind of this expert mentor series that Beer and Whistle and Kinder and myself kicked off, that I've had the, I guess I won by default for being the most consistent. So I get to lead those conversations. We're 263. This will be our 263rd episode coming up. And, just being able to have great conversations. I had Tony King on, he's in everybody's organization. So I had Tony King on this week, actually, to be able to just talk his process growth, what the growth team is able to do, just always providing those conversations. But when you get down to just like training to invite everybody within the organization to, we do 2 calls specifically targeted to, obviously, coaching clients, but we invite everybody within our organization to jump on. I do a live marketing call every week. And then, gentleman in my downline he's actually the COO at Sphere Rocket, Mr. Joel Perso. And so Joel does our COO operational calls for open to everybody in the organization. And so being able to tap into, people that are in your organization's, superpowers and their skill set, and giving them a platform to be able to share and contribute and give back has been really cool. But I think it's, really important as well.
Thank you. I really appreciate this. This has been a great conversation. I wish so many people could be listening to this. And fair enough, we will put that out there. But really appreciate you coming and doing this.
Thank you for having me.